Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations, effects, tutorials, demos, and review. So today we have up the amazing, we'll switch over to the pedalboard view here. We got the amazing Luminite Graviton M1, which is this touchscreen MIDI controller here, along with the 10 Footswitch controller, which is underneath. So one of the beautiful things about this setup is now, I have a actual big enough screen I can see, right? So now I can see what preset I'm on. If I want a bigger view of that preset, I can go to the live mode. And in live mode, it would just show you the current preset you're on, a nice big display that you can see clean bass. This is the first preset I have programmed in here, and that's because as a bassist, one of the main things you're gonna need is your clean tone. Give me 1 second. Eesh. So with a nice clean tone, well, let's explain a few things. First off, so this is my pedal board here. I only have 4 pedals currently on Midi, and that is the Hog 2, the Future Impact V4 VIP, the Enzo X, and the Mercury X as well. And so those are the main pedals I need to switch live, right? Those are some of my always on pedals. Like the Mercury X acts as my end of the chain, compressor, a preamp, and high pass filter. And that's, I call that preset Negus preamp. Right, and I'm running that with the ToneX ones, the dual stereo ToneX ones, pretty much, one for each left and right. And I keep these on the same settings, and I usually, if I have to hit these, I hit these at the same time. And I have that queued up to it's a JHS color box running into an Ampeg SGT DI, and that sound is the sound you've been listening to. And I also always have on the Empress compressor for my bass sounds. Now my bass dry, and this is so this is with my bass I actually sound like dry, but it definitely has I definitely have these particular settings set up for a lot of clarity. So I'm literally adding I don't normally add this much bass, to my dry sound. Right? These, and I have with these on. Empress compressor, but definitely gives me a lot more. lot more clarity in there. And that's even when I scoop it out on my bass, I'm still getting harmonics that come through, right? So, oh, let me mute this. As you can hear, there's a ton of clarity in there. Just making sure that, you know, I never have a problem getting enough bass out of usually when I'm playing out, you know. The problem's usually running when you are trying to cut through. So I created a whole, in my new preset packs that'll be out this week. I promise they'll be out this week, which will be the combination packs for the ToneX 1 and the new preset pack for the Mercury X. All that'll be out this week. Right? So you'll have access to that exact tone model and all that stuff, but that one's called Negus. Those are all my settings like that have clarity in the name. So you'll have my normal EQ settings, and then you'll have these clarity settings for when you really need to cut through a mix or you're having problems with your sound translating. Because even if I put my bass flat, right? Now it's the bass is just flat. I didn't cut any bass on those preamps. I just kept them flat. But you see, it allows me, if I want to use more of my bass knob, I can do that. But okay, this ain't really a preset tutorial per se. I wonder if there's a way I can change it from here. Can I do that? Nope. So what I like to do is keep it, that's my clean bass, then I keep a nice little filter next to it. Let's give that a nice little shape in here. Now the envelope filter is actually coming from the Enzo X, right? So right now the signal chain is Empress compressor, Enzo X, ToneX 1s into the Mercury X, and then the Jam Man Solo HD and out to the Canvas line isolator there at the end. I love the filter on the Mercury X and the Enzo X. You know, they have that ladder filter, and the state variable filters are amazing, as well as the Enzo X has a twin filter that is really good as well. So, you know, another few more reasons to check it on out when you get a chance. If you haven't already, folks, subscribe, hit that like button, all that good stuff for me. It definitely helps me out a tremendous amount. You know, hit those reactions, hype, you know, Cash App, Super Chat, all that good stuff. But, all right, so this thing pretty much allows me, these are my main pedals that affect the majority of my sound, you know what I'm saying, when I'm doing stuff. Of course, I have all these other pedals. All those are in this three-way effects looper right here. So first loop is the Empress compressor. Second loop is the bass synth, MXR bass synth into the Hog 2, Future Impact, V4 VIP, back into the looper. And then this blue loop is the Deep Freeze, Key 9, Mel 9, Rabbit Sitar, V256 vocoder back into the effect. So if anything happens with all those pedals, I can pretty much just get rid of the loop, you know, if I need to, or whatever the case. And it's also easier to identify problems. So now that we got that out the way, of those pedals, I can choose to keep all those pedals in the loop or take them out. So out of the looper, be coming into the Enzo X, ToneX ones, and like I explained before. So it really allows me to just switch filters. Now that's the Val mod on the Mercury X, giving me that nice. But what it also does, what I also have that preset set up to do is to bypass the Hog 2, bypass the, turn basically whatever they're on, make sure they turn off pretty much. So I have a command that hits this bypass switch, turns it off, turns this off, turns off the Enzo X, and pretty much just leaves the Mercury X. So it pretty much means I can do a lot less tap dancing. And I have two different ways of changing presets. I can come here, change it here to that Enzo X envelope filter, which also has a command to bypass the Hog 2, Future Impact, changes this to the preset 32, and changes this to the Negus preamp, which is my standard bass preset for there. So that, like I said, Mercury X is always on one way or another in my pedal board now. So that Negus preamp, pretty much a lot of these first few presets, like the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 presets all have that on there. Just so if I go to say the solo setting, it then cuts so this is a preset I call Solo 1 Plus Octave. Turns on the Hog 2 onto preset 1, turns off the Future Impact if it was on, turns this Enzo X on chorus, and then turns this the Mercury X on preset I call Negus Room. So it's like a room. And this is more for my solo stuff, and I also would change the ToneX ones to the guitar amp. And I also have it set up so if I press it again, it turns off the chorus. So all I really got to do is change the preset and then change the amps with the ToneX 1 for that. You know, if I want to take out all of this section, I can just bam. I don't, even if any of these 5 pedals are on, I just take them out there. Makes my life a lot simpler. Now, eventually I probably will switch over to a Midi effects loop as well, where I'll have all these pedals on separate loops, hopefully, or the majority of them, and just be switching that again with the Midi, the M1 as well. So a few things that really intrigued me about this, other than it being a screen and then I can have the foot switches wirelessly separately. First off, the foot switches aren't on screen, they're down bottom, but they are wireless. And they have up to a 6-month battery, and I've been using it since I've gotten it, and it's still on 100% battery for the foot switches, which is crazy because I've been using it for about a week now, and it's still on 100%. So, you know, the foot switches are completely wireless. Once you pair it to the M1, it's pretty much simple from there, and you would just do that by going to settings, and then you can control things from here. Matter of fact, I don't even think you got to go to settings for this one. Let me see. Control, bam, bam. Yeah, you go to settings, page 2, and then go to pairing and wireless foot switches, rada. You pair those up. And then when you come over here, if you want to see exactly what the foot switches are, you can come back to the, basically to the home menu here. You can do the preset library, and I can switch pages that way from the foot switch. I don't know if you guys can see the screen changing or not. But you also can change what you want the foot switch pedals to do. So if I wanted these extra 2, so it's 10 switches, but the last 2 switches all the way to the right are set up for bank up, bank down. Say I wanted those to be something else, I can change that here under the foot switch menu. You go to the menu, main menu, go down to control foot switch pedal. You can control the Midi in. You can, have additional controllers, expression pedals. And not only that, you can route this expression pedals directly to certain pedals. So, one of the problems I was having with the Midi Captain was I couldn't use the expression pedals, features that it has, because I couldn't assign them to different MIDI channels, essentially. So now I don't have that problem. Very easy to do. And this thing does some incredible stuff, like in terms of the presets and stuff. So let me go to a preset. I have presets in here that work for my bass, and because of the Enzo X and the Future Impact work both with my bass and the keyboard, I have patches set up for both. The EP you're hearing is actually the iPad Neo Soul keys. Right, so that's what it sounds like by itself. I even have the sustain for that on the MIDI controllers. I don't have any sustain pedal right now. That's a MIDI foot switch. That same foot switch I have set up, and I am still using the Midi Captain, by the way. It's just it's not the main controller anymore. Actually, the main hub of this pedal board is a CME H4 Midi Pro, and that handles my MIDI routing and things like that primarily. And it also gives me 4 physical, 2 MIDI in, 2 MIDI out, plus up to I think it's 6 or 8 USB MIDI devices I can control with that as well. And, as well as Bluetooth. That's the other thing. This thing, I didn't mention that. This thing has wireless Bluetooth MIDI as well. So the M1 has that ability. So I have the M1 and the CME H4 Midi Pro connected wirelessly, along with the keyboard. The MIDI controller is wireless, and the Midi Captain has a CME WIDI jack, so that's also wireless, and the foot switches are wireless. So essentially, only thing wired to the actual MIDI hub under the board, the CME H4 Midi Pro, is the pedals and the MIDI input of the X-Tone Pro, which is my audio interface for the iPad. So that MIDI controller is wireless, the actual keyboard MIDI controller, the Midi Captain foot switch is still in play here. It's just I'm using that for all modifiers now. What's going on? Appreciate you coming back. Appreciate that. Feel free to comment and ask questions if y'all got them too. You know what I'm saying? Like we here. I definitely appreciate folks showing back up for sure. So, essentially I have 20 foot switches. I have 20 foot switches at my feet. I'll show you that. Might as well show you now. Good time as any. So, pretty much this is what you got underneath the board. And you got the foot switches here, and you also have the Midi captain here. And like I said, the Midi captain is just handling the. Let me put this down real quick. So, just looking things back up. All right. So, essentially, the Midi captain is controlling all my expression stuff. I mean, any expression pedal functions, the hold modifiers on here, the freeze gliss, and whatever expression pedals on here. I don't think I have it doing anything on the Future Impact, but I also have it being the sustain pedal for the keys as well. And then I have one switch which is set up to be the sustain pedal for the keys. Let me switch to. I was able to make I'm gonna come out with a second Enzo X pack too. I was able to create a very nice string patch on there. Let me see. So this is the Enzo X and the Mercury X. Matter of fact, let me take this off of the guitar amps. Put it on the. That Enzo X is crazy. I created this string. That's crazy. And then the Mercury X takes it to another level. So this is the Enzo X by itself. I was able to create a nice string patch with that. Put that with the Mercury X. I'm freezing. So there's a few things happening there. See, I can hold that. I can change the pitch. So I have that one foot switch is meant to on the Midi captain. I'm saying I have that set up to be the sustain pedal for the Midi controller keyboard, the expression pedal for the Enzo X, and the hold modifier for the Mercury X. And that allows me a lot of flexibility. The Mercury X is what I use mostly for my freeze stuff. So like as my main freeze effects, I still do use my deep freeze, but as my end of the chain freeze or reverb freeze, delay freeze, it pretty much lets you freeze any of the effects and stuff in there or at different parts of the chain. So gives you a lot of flexibility, but so that one pedal, that one foot switch essentially does all of that for me. So I don't have to tap dance and try to put a whole bunch, but that also frees up my other leg to, I have another foot switch down here on the Midi captain. I'm not sure with the MLP. What is the MLP? But yeah, the other foot switch I have set up to be the hold modifier of the Enzo X. So one foot switch allows me to essentially change pitches. Have that nice gliding effect when I want it. While the other foot switch allows me to hold it. And then I can raise it up. Now I got all these additional harmonies in there. And effects going, so nice little thing to be able to do. And I can do the same thing with my bass, as you can see. And the Enzo X switches automatically between MIDI and your actual bass. So it definitely makes a huge difference in what you're able to do. You know, theoretically, I could hold this like this. So literally I can have it, I can even have this controller set up to go between those two settings so I could solo, like play a chord with the string sound, then solo with that sound. Let me try that, matter of fact, while we're here. So I'm gonna copy this preset. This is the other thing you can do. It's real easy to do everything on here. You just press and copy the preset, scroll to the bank that you want. Come over, you can choose the bank over here where I'm already, mind you, I'm already on bank 12. You know what I'm saying? Each bank has 10 slots and I'm already, you know, I've already created a well load, you know what I'm saying, into I got a few slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I probably got about 20 slots left. So I got about 100 presets already programmed. So we're just going to copy this one here. All right. And now let's go to it. We just double tap. Matter of fact, we just press it, long press. Then you can edit the preset. You can swap it, the position of it with another preset. You can reset it, you know what I'm saying, to the factory reset, just that preset. It'll just reset it, basically erase everything. You don't have to sit there and try to delete everything. Then you also can rename it. You can copy the preset to another preset slot. You can, like which we just did, or you can change the color. Say I want this color to be blue. Bam, now the preset's blue. So let's try to set it up to go from there to, I want it to edit here. And we're going to go to type, see if I can get it to do it. See, you can have it go up or down with the preset counter jump. Let me see. So what I wanted to jump to is, you gotta have these preset numbers, 83, 82. So we're going from 57. So this should, I'm guessing this should be 57, and we want to go to 82. But I'm saying, like, is that how that works? Do I already? It's just going to jump there, but how do I get it to jump back? See, this is the little stuff you got to try to figure out. But because there's so many, it's possible to do all this stuff on here, but you got to spend some time. If I chain it to a preset, that just switched it. Okay, so let's do this. I am go back to, is it 53? No, 53. What is that, strings? Strings 2, so strings, there we go, 57. Change this to 57. So now the Enzo X will go back to preset 57. But Okay, so I'm gonna add another command here. See if I can get it to. Okay, behind. Expression next time, presets with specials. Keystroke, okay. That just turns into a keyboard. You can do control voltage switch, clock, song. Let's see if we can preset chain. And we want to send it to I think I already got this set up. So let's go Moody trumpet. So is this only when I press it again, or is this going to send on state, send all state, send current state, toggle on and off? So I'm figuring this out as I'm going along here with y'all. Yeah, that didn't work. I'll have to figure that out later, but when I do, I'll show you how to do it. But even with the switch, you can set it for any, the foot switches, you can set them for the press can be one command, the release can be a different command. You can set it to toggle, momentary, rotation, reset, reset to the top, reset to on. So I have my, that right there is an important feature. Let's see, let me go. So when I go to these different effects, I go to these. Now I have those set up so I can also press it again and press it again and turn the effect off. And it's just my bass signal. Press it. Now the chorus is on. And the chorus is on the Enzo X. So, I had to set it to reset, have that reset to on command on these ones as well, because that way what was happening, I have an on and off toggle. So when I would change the state of it, while I'm in the preset, say I toggled this to off, or I toggled it on, whatever the case, when I switched to the preset. Then when I would switch to the next preset, it would turn that one off for some strange reason. So I put it to reset on, so to make sure that those effects, every time I click the preset, that particular effect always starts with it on. You know what I'm saying? And then I can go from there, because I already have a clean setting, but sometimes I don't want to switch back and forth. I can just remember which preset I'm on. And I got a nice chorus there, nice flanger queued up. Make sure that was retoggled to off for some strange reason. So nice phaser. So just you get right to your sounds once they're programmed in there. So now I can go clean tone. Oh, that's why I had that set like that. Let me do that. Change that back on. Always reset that. Damn. Filter. Nice chorus. Flanger. And it even shows you if it's bypassed or not on the actual Graviton M1. It has a little blue dot that lets you know if the actual effect that you're toggling on and off is on. And I can switch that to a phaser. So you just got all access to all your stuff right there, even solo sounds. And the same thing with my pads and stuff I may need. So, you know, a lot of times I'm stacking those with EP or piano sounds. So that's that EP sound by itself. Add. So you got them available now. They just there. Once it's all programmed. And these are primarily bypassing these two pedals and going to the Enzo X, and well, it's by turning these on bypass mode, changing the preset, and altering the Enzo X and the Mercury X. You know what I'm stupid stuff you can do. Just freeze stuff. Yeah, it's an envelope. Well, MIDI and audio are two different things. So the envelope filter we're hearing is an actual effect that's on the Enzo X. I'm just using MIDI to pretty much manipulate the presets or change different modifiers and things like the pitch. For instance, on this patch, I can turn on the ring modulator. So in this case, all I did was trigger that effect, like to turn it on with the MIDI. So basically, MIDI allows me to change presets and manipulate presets of the different pedals. So for instance, the Hog 2 has a foot switch here that allows me to save presets. The rest of them have built-in presets, right? So you have to set all those up on the individual pedals first, including the things you want the expression pedal to control and these hold modifier switches, which allow you to change things as well. So once you have all that mapped out, then the combinations of those things is what I'm programming into the Graviton M1 into this, right? All of that's running underneath. So this is actually not attached to the board. This is not attached to the board. Like for MIDI, it's only being powered by the board with the USB. And mind you, this whole board is being powered off of a Canvas Power 15 by itself. But this controller here doesn't need any other cables because it's wirelessly connected to the CME H4 Midi Pro, which also looks like this. It's a bigger version of this. It's a bigger version of this. It just has 4 of these, 2 in and 2 out. But yeah, these are great because I have the MIDI connected into my board with hardwired, so I don't have any additional latency trying to have different stuff on wireless MIDI, because the wireless MIDI does add a little bit of latency, and things like keys, it works well. But if I'm only running wireless from here to the MIDI, the H4 Midi Pro underneath here, and then wired to the actual sound. But hold on, let me see. Yeah, I'm using the Enzo X for the envelope filter, and the same envelope filter can be created in the Mercury X. I'm also using a filter in the Mercury X. Not a filter, one of the modulations. It's called a vowel mod in there. So, but yeah, so pretty much the MIDI, the Graviton M1 is just holding all the presets of the combinations of presets and things that I have on of these 4 pedals, pretty much allowing me to switch between different sounds. Allows me to manipulate those sounds like that, or I can just freeze it and stuff. So MIDI's amazing. What's going on? The usual suspects rolling in. What's going on? I definitely appreciate that. My man Neo, always helping out, man. I definitely appreciate you. And I appreciate y'all, man. All the cool members of the Patreon, all the people that's been supporting the channel. Neo Lover 23 definitely has made definitely made these two videos happen. The MXR Bass Synth Future Impact V4 VIP. And I'm so glad that you did. You know, those are two of my favorite pedals now. You know, I'm glad. You know, sometimes it's a little daunting. Everybody wants you to pick up a new pedal, buy a new pedal. You know, it gets expensive, but it always helps out when one of the subscribers or all of you guys, Patreon subscribers, people that buy the presets, y'all all chip in to keep new things coming in for you guys to get reviews. So thank you guys so much. And special shout out to Neo Lover 23. Yeah, get the newer firmware for the Luminite. Oh, that's another thing too. The newer firmware of the Luminite stuff is a little bit better. They definitely improved a few things. My Bluetooth, it did take me a few times to be able to connect it to the H4 Midi Pro. So I'll tell you guys how I got mine hooked up wirelessly. I actually, you know, you got to turn off all the other Bluetooth MIDI devices, and I also turned off like the Bluetooth on my computer and on my phone and stuff like that. Pretty much any other Bluetooth device that I felt like it might, if putting this in peripheral mode means this pretty much becomes the MIDI slave, the M1. So it's looking, you got to turn this on always on. Yeah, you set this to always on, because it took me a while to figure this out. I had to set it to always on, set the H4 MIDI Pro to the central, as the central, pretty much meaning it's the MIDI, it's the main thing everything's connecting to, right? Because I also have these Witty Masters. I have one of these on the keyboard, and I have this one is connected to it when it's on, you know, connected to something. And then I have a Witty jack on the MIDI captain. Just, you know, so all of that's connected wirelessly to the CME H4 MIDI Pro. And essentially, I'm using this as a peripheral. So meaning like as a slave, this pretty much just sends a message to that telling everything else what to do. But it's not the main thing. The main thing is that CME H4 MIDI Pro that I have underneath. This is just storing all the presets, and same thing I was doing with the MIDI captain before. So these are a few little things that, you know. And then, so back to what I was saying, to get this connect wirelessly, I had to turn all that other stuff off, only turn on the H4 MIDI Pro and this and then have them in the proper mode. So once you connect the H4 MIDI Pro to the software, the Witty software in the app on your phone or your iPad or whatever, you would set it to central and group auto detect, I believe it is. So it basically sets it as the central, and it sets it to automatically connect to anything Bluetooth MIDI that's in, you know, set to slave. So then I got this in the H4 MIDI to connect. So now, once I got that to happen, I haven't had any problems. And because I keep it on always on, it automatically connects all the time. Yeah, that's very well possible. That's very well possible. You know, sometimes certain pedals, depending on what you want to do, you might have to put them in their own path MIDI channel. That's why I love the H4 MIDI Pro. It gives me enough outlets, you know, and inputs and outlets compared to the H2 MIDI Pro. I only had one or two. So things like the Hog 2, sometimes I run this separately because it doesn't have an out. You know, so once it goes, if I want to keep daisy chaining, or if I want to run, you know, the Future Impact to a keyboard to play sounds, you know, and this is already connected, then it's no longer connected when I disconnect it. So I just connect it back to the actual H4 MIDI Pro. But yeah, I would say these come in handy too when you want to filter out messages. So, you know, you can do this with the M1 as well. But you can pretty much, I filtered out I have the MIDI controller, the Enzo X, and the iPad on MIDI channel 3. I filtered out all the program changes using the H4 MIDI Pro, which is underneath, is the bigger brother of this one. So now when I change presets for the Enzo X, I'm still on my EP sound, and it doesn't change there. Because I need them on the same channel, right? I need them on the same channel so I can play them at the same time. I can't play them at the same time on different channels. At least with my current setup. So, yeah, this little thing is a lifesaver. Plus, you can see it. Like, I can't see the MIDI captain screen and use it as a foot switch. The screen's too small, and when you stand up, like when you sit down, you can actually see it decently. But when you're standing up and you moving around and you on stage and you're in a hurry to get things done, you really can't see it the way you want to. So I always, I recommend getting this, even if you're not going to get the foot switches. Say you already have a MIDI captain, you can actually have the MIDI captain pair with the Graviton in one, or have something like a H4 MIDI Pro or H2 MIDI Pro, well, preferably H4 MIDI Pro, so you can have the wireless, have them connect both to that, and then, you can have them talk from there. That's why they don't even have to talk, really. But you also have, let me not neglect to mention this, you also have MIDI ports, actual physical MIDI ports on here, and you have your TRS inputs, your expression inputs. Those can be control voltage as well for Sims. What's going on? Appreciate all y'all chiming in. You even got a 3.5 to MIDI jack. You got USB. You can have this as a USB host. If you're running this off a 9-volt battery, power supply, you can use this to power other USB MIDI devices as well. So this is a nice little unit. And great thing, I know one of the things I was worried about was the screen. But once I learned that the screen was $20, replacement screen for this is $20. Come on now. That's amazing. $20, and you can replace it yourself. Like they said, you can do it yourself. So not only do you not have to really worry about this screen like that, I mean, you could just go ahead and buy a replacement screen up front just in case. It's $20, and just keep that around somewhere for when you need it. And, most of the time you sit it on your pedal board somewhere like this, the other pedals are so far above it. Like this knob and this pedal here, you got all this kind of protection around it when you sit it on the pedal board. I got a little bit of Velcro on the bottom, even though I got rubber feet on the bottom as well. So I can kind of just sit it like that and not have to worry about it. When I want to see it, I can sit it there. I can move it over here. Also, if I paired this with a power bank, I can make this completely wireless. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's plugged up, powered through the USB port of the Canvas Power 15. So, it's amazing. So I also have it set up for my lead sounds. ARPs. can you not like the Enzo X? First off, the fact that you could just switch so seamlessly. You know, the intros and stuff you could do. Just starting off with bass, nice bass sound. Come on. Just having this much flexibility in your setup is insane. Like between the Enzo X, the Midi, the CME H4 Midi Pro, which you can't see, it's underneath the board. This controller, the foot switches, the Midi Captain. I'm just using that as a foot switch at this point. Not really using it for presets or anything. I'm just using it as an expression controller. But when you start putting all that stuff together, like it really expands your rig's capabilities. This is the same bass rig that I can use for keys stuff. And I don't have to really do anything but just connect the MIDI controller. All I got to do is turn it on and it'll automatically connect. I don't even have to actually physically have this keyboard. It's not physically connected now. So, you know. Yeah, all that type of stuff in there. Just crazy work off of, normally in order to get that to this sustain and freeze and I'm controlling, so I'm controlling the sustain of the piano sound through the wireless MIDI controller on the floor, which is the MIDI controller is wireless, is the keys MIDI controller is wireless as well. And I'm controlling the attack and the release of the Enzo X sound there and the pitch shift. And I'm controlling the freeze on the Mercury X. And I'm pretty much doing that with 2 foot switches. You know what I'm saying? Like one I'm using to do the freezing, and the other foot switch I'm choosing when I want to shift that pitch of that string sound. And I also have a separate button for the piano sustain, so I just wanted to sustain the piano. So, you know, with the technology in the iPad these days, the sounds you can get in the iPad, it's kind of crazy. You know, when that piano sound is not the best piano sound in the world, but it is, when you stack in, it gives you it's a nice piano. And which is on par with a lot of keyboards. So not bad at all, Neo Soul Keys. That's the name of the app. App's only $12 too. $12 for that EP sound. First of all, it's an EP app, but that's one of the piano add-ons you can buy. And I happen to really like it a lot. Like the EPs are really exceptional, you know, especially when you add in pads to them. And not only that, but you get your own effects rack in here as well. So like having this all set up in Midi is just insane. Like, you know, only thing I'm still trying to figure out is at some point I would like this key, the iPad, to be on a different channel and be, you know, have this on channel 6 and still keep the Enzo X on channel 3 and be able to use them both with the same MIDI controller at the same time. So, but only going to those channels. You know, that's something that I know this MIDI controller is not capable of. So I'll probably have to get a new MIDI controller. But every EP I made on here, like, has been really good. And I actually have that EP sound running through the auxiliary input of the Jamman Solo HD. So it's this pretty much a 3.5 millimeter audio cable, TRS cable, which you can use for stereo audio as well. So I have that running from the X-Tone Pro. What is that? Who is that by? X-Sonic's X-Tone Pro, which is a 6-switch. It has 6 foot switches on it that are signable through MIDI, and it also has stereo in and out. It has a XLR. It's an audio interface stomp box pretty much, and also has, you know, mic input, the gain, and its own volume, headphone out, which is how you're hearing it. That's what it sounds like through the headphone out. But I did it that way, so the entire everything you're hearing is running through the canvas line isolator. So one stereo, you know, pretty much a stereo lines ran to the mixer, left and right, and I can, if I need to loop the keys part, for instance, also have the foot switch for the Jam Man solo down here on the floor. That was that other foot switch you guys saw. So what is it? This one. So I can have pre-recorded stuff. I can do stuff live and play bass with it and have the rest of my band fill it out. I can loop my bass lines very easily there and not have to stop anything, you know what I'm saying? And just go from there, just go straight soloing, you know. So, you know, adding a MIDI to the rig comes in handy when you're looping, especially because I can get right to, if I need to get to a clean bass sound, if I need to get to a flanger sound, it's all in the same place versus me having to move all around. If I need to get to a solo sound, right there, ARP sounds. Also have a page set up where I can go up individual. So basically I have the first foot switch is all the way on the left, the top one and the bottom one I have set up to be the preset up and preset down for the Hog 2. So if I want to go from preset 2, I just press that up and I go up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. You know, if I want to go down from there, I can go down. If I want to change the Future Impacts presets, I can press and hold it and it actually scroll for me. As you can see here, scrolling, and I can also do it individually. Same thing with down, hold it, scrolls down for me through the different sounds. Enzo X, same thing, I can scroll through the different presets, up and down. Mercury X. So I have one whole page just to do that, where I can pretty much preset up and down all the pedals and pretty much scroll through all the presets of all 4 pedals. That is also very useful for, say I'm in the middle, say I don't want to touch my pedal board, because a lot of times when I'm doing stuff, I don't always want to touch other things. And I can set up the Enzo X and Mercury X to where they don't switch patches until I confirm them and things like that. But I got it set up to go straight to stuff right now. So, but it comes in handy, especially when creating. You know, sometimes reaching over like this is a hassle. You know, it's a real hassle sometimes trying to reach over and grab everything this way. So, you know, if I'm just changing presets, I can do that from my foot switches. Just go get a Mercury X already. It's so worth it. I mean, I can't say that enough. And then the next few pages I have set up for different presets for different pedals. Hog 2. So just set up for different patches I want to use for each individual pedal. So I did that for the next 4 pages, you know what I'm saying? And what that pretty much does, it allows me a great deal of control in creating presets on the spot. You know, I have those set up, and all that I can name them in here. Something I can't do on the Hog 2 that I can do in the Graviton M1 is name the presets. And on the Future Impact V4 VIP, I have the presets named, but I can't see the name. I can only see the number. So I have it set up to over here. See, do I have it? That's something else I need to program into each slot. Let me see. Let me add a new one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a command for the bypass. So CC message 66 is the bypass switch here, on and off. Change that to a value of 127. So now Future Impact's on. If I change it to 0, turns it off, right? So turn it on. Let's go to 99. Get this set up here. Get this set up correctly. Yeah, I love the Future Impact. So you can just have that set up like that. And this same command, I'm pretty much just going to go through and add to each one. The tracking is really good on the Future Impact. People, you have to set it up right. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things about the pedals with tracking. You have to cater to the tracking of the pedals somewhat in every instance, but a lot of it is the setup of it. And I'll just go through a few key little tips for the different synths you see here. So for the Future Impact, things you want to worry about is this input level. Well, first, before you even get to this pedal, on your actual bass, you want to, I would just say keep your bass flat, boost your high mids, right? Then come in with a bit of compression, you know, right here. I'm using the Empress compressor. And then when we get to the actual pedal itself, you know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that this input level hits that red like that, but doesn't necessarily just stay red. So like pretty much every attack of the note, you want to be able to hit that red, but immediately cut off. Only misfires I have is when I don't see that red light. Fret rep helps as well, but on the actual pedal, that note off level and the note on level are super important. So the note off level I have set to 50, the note on level I have set to 49, 48. And those are the key factors for that pedal. Now for the MXR bass synth, with this, it's about the same thing with the tracking, but I will say when you first get the MXR bass synth, you're going to want to change that to the 4-string tracking, which is the faster tracking. You don't need to play, I'm explaining this one more time. Okay. You do not need to play a synth bass pedal down here, okay? Playing it down here is limiting the pedal so much, and is really, once you limit the pedal's range like this by playing down here, and you also limit the tracking is always a better above the low B on the E string. So from the low B up, you can do anything you want, but don't go past this low B. You don't need anything past that. Low B. And that'll help all your pedals track better. Just right there. Just stop trying to play it down here like it's a regular bass. It's not. Stop it. And the more you do it, the less you're going to get out of your pedals. I know this is my comfort zone. This is where I like to play. Nobody cares. And because for one, think about this. Why you get a bass synth pedal now? Because you want a bass synth sound. Now, what does a bass synth sound consist of? A sub-octave, a regular pitch, and sometimes your unison pitch with the note you're actually playing, and usually sometimes an octave above. Now, you playing down here automatically puts your sub-octave below this G, which is really doesn't even sound good, right? That's why we don't really use it too much. If that low G sounded so amazing, everybody, below the low B string I have here sounded so good, everybody would use it. We don't use it because it don't really sound too good. So by playing down here, playing up here, just up an octave, is going to now allow the sub octave to play this bottom G, the synth unison pitch to play this, and the octave to play this note up here. So now you got 3 different pitches going, which gives you a much bigger bass synth sound. So I hope that helps. But you playing down here is going to give you that nasty, toy, crappy sound I keep hearing from this pedal and people using it. And it gives the pedals a bad name, to be honest with you, because you get the false representation that this is what that pedal sounds like, and it's not. And I know that's what they advertise and all that good stuff, but it's not the best practice for any bass synth pedal. So it really doesn't matter. They selling something. I'm not selling you nothing right now. So I'm just giving you tips and honest feedback. They want you to believe that you should play a bass synth pedal down here because this is where everybody I've always wanted to play down here on a bass synth pedal. Who cares? Who cares? Nobody. Play up here and get the sound and get the ultimate feel that you want, right? And the most out of your pedals versus trying to make your pedals get the most out of you. You're doing it the wrong way. You are the state. The effects, the synths, everything else is the seasoning. All right, let's go from there. Enough ranting, enough synth ranting for the day. All right, so getting back to this. So if you want this to track better, also play around with the trigger sensitivity as well for the notes. Let's go to. Now, I wish the MXR bass synth and the ToneX ones had regular Midi, right? You know what I'm saying? That, you know, even if it was USB, that would help out a lot, especially in this setup, you know. But the ToneX ones are amazing. Matter of fact, if you want to get one through the channel, through the link in the description, definitely helps out the channel. So you can get some nice sounds with the bass and the bass synth as well. And the real cool thing about it is when you add that expression pedal, you're multiplying the presets greatly. And you can do stuff like, say you wanted to be able to. Let me see if it's good. You got all that stuff immediately available to you with an expression pedal. So you can mix two different presets together in different various ways, you know what I'm saying? Happy holidays. What's going on? Appreciate you. Oh, yeah, you know, feel free to rewind. Be kind to rewind, as the old saying used to go back in the VHS era. But, yeah, so, you know, back to what we were kind of getting at in the first place. Yeah, the tracking is with bass sounds, you know what I'm saying, or bass synths and stuff, is you definitely want to roll off the bass, boost those high mids, maybe add a little compression, and then from there set up those the way the pedals are triggering on the actual pedals, you know, could like optimize that. For instance, the 4-string mode on here, the trigger sensitivity, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. The note input, note off level, note on and note off levels here, input level here, you know what I'm saying? And then go from there. The rest of it is really you just playing cleanly. Yeah, that still ain't got my Pog 3 back. And I'm about to do a video about it. Yeah, they're kind of pissing me off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely been over 4 weeks. They told me 3 to 4 weeks to repair a pedal. I only had 2 days that I did nothing but turn it on and it froze. So, you know, and if you can look at my pedal board and tell I love electro-harmonics pedals. This not even all the electro-harmonics pedals I own. You know what I'm saying? But just on this one board, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pedals. 7 if you include the foot controller, because I did have to buy this separately from the Hog 2. So, yeah, I am a little disappointed that I still don't have my Pog 3 back. And yeah, we was just talking about the Future Impact V4 VIP a few minutes ago. So, yeah, but that's these pedals. When pedals that have the Midi are going to make your life so much easier, because you can just change presets. Like I said, like if I don't compare it to this, if I, for instance, the one of the other main difference between these two pedals, right? I've been asked several times about the MXR bass synth versus the Future Impact V4 VIP. It's not even the same thing. Like, this is not even the same thing. You just got to use the MXR bass synth for what it is. It's not going to be the vintage Moog sounds and all that stuff. Wow, the Future Impact V4 VIP, you're going to have a hard time finding a vintage bass sound that you can't get with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, from the ARP 2600 sounds, the Moog sounds, you know what I'm saying? All types of bass synths, sounds you can get with this Future Impact V4 VIP. Pretty much, just think of it like a little Moog in a little pedal form, and they're about the same size. These two things are about the same size as this one sideways. And this is slightly bigger, but not by much. So the Future Impact, the tracking is about the same on both of them. Both of them track really well. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're playing well and they have enough volume, that is another factor. Make sure you're giving them enough signal, but not too much signal. If you got too much signal, it's going to trigger too much. If you don't have enough signal, like meaning volume from your bass, then it won't trigger when you need it to, and it'll, so that's some factors with both pedals. But yeah, I still think they're both worth getting. So don't mistake me there. I do like the MXR bass synth. This is going to be better for people that, if you just want a bass synth pedal to play around with, the MXR bass synth is going to be that. If you want a serious bass synth that you can sound like a professional and sound like you got a few $1,000s worth of Moog and other vintage keyboards, get you a Future Impact. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, they both are worth having. I wouldn't say that the bass synth is trash. It's just not on the same par as the Enzo X and the Future Impact. It's not even close. So, and if you don't believe me, you just heard a few sounds. Like, I'll give you a quick example. We'll go, and I've done this a few times because this is a bass sound that a lot of people already know, synth-wise. So, you can start with the Michael Jackson, Thriller. This is about as close as I could get it on the MXR bass synth. Future Impact. Just what? it ain't even close. Not to mention, I can simply hold this down. Oh, I did it wrong. Hold this down till I see global. Bam. I can instantly change this to a keyboard using this with a keyboard with the setup I have. Hopefully this does it correctly. Don't make me look stupid now. Bang, bang, bang. So I can easily there's not even close. Not only that, I can play my bass, play other synths. Like say I wanted to play a different keyboard or use a different synth engine. Say I wanted to use a motif as the bass sounds on the bass synth sounds on a motif. The Future Impact V4 VIP will actually allow me to Midi out from here and use this internal synth sound and that sound at the same time, all played with my bass. You can't do that. Yes, the editing takes a on the Enzo X and the Future Impact definitely is more, but I will say because they have well, I actually enjoy editing on the Enzo X and the Mercury X more than the software. That's just me personally. I like to edit. If you're having a hard time editing on the Enzo X, hopefully you've changed it to the text view and not and kept it on. If you keep it on that graphic view, it looks better, but it's not as functional. Turn it on the text view, and then these buttons around here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 knobs, all become parameters attached to parameters on the screen if 6 things are available, and then that allows you to edit 6 parameters on one page versus with the bubbles, you got to do all that flipping and stuff, and that's too much. That all that scrolling through the bubbles and tick. No, turn it on text view. It'll make it much better. The Future Impact, you just got to remember, first things you want to do is set where you want your VCO to be on the Future Impact. VCO, meaning, you want it transposed, the unison pitch, or you want it to go down a pitch or up a pitch. Then, yeah, the graphic view going mess you up every time. That's just my personal opinion. I love Meris, but the text view is where the money is. You feel me? If you want to edit on the pedal, the text view is everything. So the Future Impact is the VCO. Then you edit your oscillator. From there, from the oscillator goes into that VCF mixer, where you have the instrument distortion, all that stuff, and then from there it goes into the filter. So I would recommend if you watch some things that help me learn get around the synth. What's my man Anthony Marinelli? I think that's his name. I'm not good with last names. I'm not good with names, period. But he did a lot of programming for Michael Jackson. I've watched quite a few of his videos and learned a ton of stuff. So he'll definitely help you understand synth, from a analog, like the actual synths. He has them in his house. So, that's some other tips. Always don't be afraid to look at what some of the keyboard players have set up. That's how I learned about neo soul keys and stuff. I found out from other people's, rigs. I watched a few other keyboardists that was using their iPads as rigs, and that was one of the apps that kept coming up, Neo Soul Keys. So, and they're made by a group called Gospel Musicians. So check that joint out when you get a chance too. Definitely worth it. See what we got here. Make sure we ain't missing nothing. Yep, all right, we good. Y'all make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. But yeah, so then from there you got the filter and all the other effects. But the main thing with the synths is going to be the oscillators and the filter. You know what I'm saying? And once you learn how to manipulate those things, you pretty much get money from there. But yeah, so have a page set up just for the Future Impact, and then I got one set up for the Enzo X, either different types of effects that I didn't have on that first page, or just the individual effects. Where is my sound? Oh. And that's all actually the Enzo X. That was the Enzo X doing a lot of that that pitch shifting there. Enzo, they have some great pitch shifting on the Enzo X and the Mercury X. It's just the latency on the poly modes is a bit much. Which they'll probably nail that down at some point too, even more. But the thing about it is, the trade-off is, while it may have a small amount of latency to it, it tracks absolutely perfectly. Like every single time, no matter what you're throwing at it, it tracks perfectly. Yep, that's exactly how you spell it. Yeah, nice little app. Especially for the money, like you ain't gonna beat that for $12. With it's got up to 10 effects in the, like, just regular, like, it has slots, right? So slot 1 has up to 5 rack effects. Slot 2 has another 5 effects that you can have. That's 10. Then the master part of the effects section, also has another 5 slots that you can use. So you got up to 15 effects you can use at once on that EP sound. That's why it has such that beautiful cloud verb on there. For iPad? Come on now. In full stereo. Very nice, very solid EP sound there. I can't complain about that at all. And for $12, $13, $12.99. But I mean, for $12.99 on an iPad that you can just carry with you. Not only that, let's get it straight. If you have one of these Witty Masters, something like this, or Witty Jack, or something of that sort, you can wirelessly have your MIDI controller connected to your iPad, directly to your iPad. And then, the version of the iPad I have has a headphone out. You can literally run a headphone out from your iPad and just take your iPad and a MIDI controller. That's crazy. And you still got you still got your audio, you still got your MIDI. That's insane. And these run about $60. These Witty Masters. You know, this is the MIDI out portion. This is the MIDI inside. And these are great for that stuff like that. Like I said, I'm running the MIDI controller with one right now. So like you can, the latency is not bad at all. So yeah, it keeps up, like, and it's stable. Like I've been, one of the things I've been trying to do, like to test stuff lately, is just leaving stuff on. Like I'll be having that joint on, that, and I wanted to test the Canvas Power 15 as well. Like just see how does it, if I leave this on for hours, will it get warm? And with the MIDI connections, the wireless connections, if I leave these on for hours, I come back periodically, is it just ready to go? You know what I'm saying? Is it stable, staying connected? Once I have it up and running, is it going to cut out on me, basically? So, you know, and I can honestly say, like, they definitely got the Witty, the you know what I'm saying, the Bluetooth MIDI, very stable now. You know what I'm saying? It connects when I turn it on. If I turn the, it turns on when you need it to. Just to give a quick example, I'll turn the setup off real quick. Let me see. So now the setup's off, right? You can see that it's off. And when you turn it back on, give it a few seconds, it'll be back. Oh, it's back now. And as you can see, ready to go. So even when once it's all grouped together and it's synced up, it's not even a thing of getting it back together. It's staying together, and it's allowing. You know, I was worried about when I couldn't get that Graviton M1 to connect at first, but one of the things I found is when your central thing is connected, like I have that CME Witty app. When you have those particular products, in order for them to connect to the app, they connect to the Bluetooth on your phone. When it's connected to the Bluetooth on your phone, and you have, even if you have this set to always on and peripheral, it's not going to connect to the Witty Master or the H4 MIDI Pro or the Witty Jack and stuff, the other Witty devices that you're using. So you have to take all your Witty devices after you configure them in the app. You have to take them all. You have to tell the device that you're using, say it's your phone, you have to tell your phone to forget it on the Bluetooth. Go to the Bluetooth settings and tell it to forget the MIDI devices that you're setting up. And then when you turn everything off and turn it back on, things will start to connect a little easier. Yes, I am using. This is just a MIDI. This is an Axiom 61. This is an older MIDI keyboard. This thing about 10, 12 years old. I'm actually looking at the Roly ones. Roly just came out with a keyboard, that has full size keys, MIDI controller that has full size keys, programmable colors, and also the built-in expression into the keys. So the pressure and moving the keys side to side now has expression features to it, as well as their new airwave thing they have out, where I can literally play a chord like this and hold it and change the sound with my hands in the air like this, which is pretty cool. So, I'll probably be checking that stuff out in terms of MIDI controllers next. Yeah, the Lord, this is the, what the whole episode's kind of about, is this Luminite Graviton M1, which is a MIDI controller. So this pretty much has all my presets in it now, and it gives me a nice 3.5-inch screen to look at, and I have the foot switches that's paired with this down here on the floor, and that's wireless as well. So, and the foot switches again have a up to a 6-month battery on them. That's incredible. So pretty much this allows me to change everything. Change banks. I can change what I got going on. I love that freeze. The Mercury Exit freeze is sweet too. It's a nice freeze. I'll probably bring that percentage down. There we go. Mind you, the Mercury X is a reverb pedal, and check out that delay. Just sickening. But the freeze effect is insane. So, while the Mercury X and stuff like that are a little pricey, it's like $600 for a reverb pedal. But you're not just getting a reverb pedal. You're getting the best reverb pedal ever. You're getting an amazing, arguably one of the best delay pedals ever, with arguably some of the best, other effects like compressor. The compressor and the limiter on there are very impressive. Like, they literally have taken I was using a Source Audio Atlas compressor at the end of my chain. Now the Mercury X is the end of my chain, because that's how good the compressor and the compressor link and the limiter link are. You also get a diffusion in there, you know what I'm saying? So you get all your ambient and lo-fi type effects too with the between diffusion, swell, freeze, and the hazy effect, which is like it gives you like tape warble, and it also gives you like age, um, tape age saturation, like, you know what I'm saying, based on the age of it. Then it gives you like this disseminate on their parameter, which is almost like a bit crusher effect. So, and you can assign any of those to LFOs. You can assign them to sequencers, uh, sample and hold, which is like a random generator, and you can envelope, or you can trigger it with the hold or hold modifier switch or the expression foot switch. So just craziness on that aspect. Plus you get some of my favorite drive on there, drives on there as well. My favorite drive is the op amp one on there. My favorite filters, favorite on the Enzo X, I got my favorite chorus, flanger, phaser. They're expensive, but they're going to replace a lot of stuff for you. So, which is going to make your life simpler, which will be better on stage if you don't have to do as much tap dancing, especially because it's full Midi. So, wow, you can't, you know, you don't have to worry about, oh, I need 50 pedals to be on at once, because you can always set your presets up in advance, have your MIDI controller switch in between stuff. So, you know, you got things on. I even created this. That's the Mercury. That's the That's a reverb pedal. That's a reverb pedal with that drive and that vowel filter. Just gets wild. Yeah, we're gonna keep that like that. I like that. Come on, yo. Yo, we talking about a reverb pedal. Come on. That's a reverb pedal. And I mean, completely the reverb pedal. There only other things on is the Empress compressor and the ToneX ones. And all that's doing is compressing, tone shaping of my bass sound and EQ. All the rest of that distortion, that overdrive, and that. So I could have set that to be an envelope valve modulation, or I could have set that like I have it now, where it's an LFO style. You know what I'm saying? Where it's almost like a baseball's filter. That's what I have it named Twin Filter on there, because it's like a baseball's filter that has an LFO. Like. And I literally designed this to sound like a baseball's on purpose. Because like I said, I'm trying to reduce pedals. So when I realized that I can get very close to that sound with this, I was like, yeah. And I can put it on the LFO. Oh, bet. Which means it's going to talk to you even when you just strum. It started making like it gives you just. And something you couldn't do with the baseballs is mixing your dry sound. That's something you can do with the you always have that option with the Mercury X. So, you know, if it's not just replacing the compressor pedal, it's replacing filter pedals, you know what I'm saying? Because I can use this as the envelope filter, just like I use the Enzo X, because they have two of the same filters, the ladder and the state filter. The main one, the ladder filter, is a Moog style filter. So if you always wanted a Moog style filter and you couldn't afford one, and you want something that's going to sound exactly like it, get you an Enzo X or a Mercury X. It's going to be in there. Then you just set that up, you know what I'm saying, with my presets, packs, and bam, you'll have all that stuff in there. You know, I'm going to have the LFO filters, envelope filters, like you just heard, you know, things like that. You know, and the difference between, like, the filter setting I have on there and, like, the one I have on the Enzo X. It's the Enzo X. This joint be cutting at gigs too. Like I've never gotten so many compliments on an envelope filter before. Like, but everybody be saying like, "Yo, what is that joint?" I'm like, "It's just an envelope filter, but it cuts so much." It just cuts. You know what I'm saying? And this filter, mind you, this is a guitar synth pedal. This is a guitar synth pedal, guitar and keyboard synth pedal. I mean, it's designed to be used with all instruments. I will say that, both of them. But primarily, this is pushed for guitar players and people like that. And it works perfectly for bass effects module. That's insane. Not only that, I can have a Filthy McNasty ring mod in here. Oh my goodness. That's the Mercury X and the Enzo X. That twin filter setting on here and the ring mod on here. Here's the ring mod by itself. And not only that, but I got it triggered by every note. Like I got it triggered by when I'm playing a note, it resets. It runs its course. If I let it play out with longer notes, comes back down to the next note. I can interrupt it. You know, so the ring mod on there and the bit crusher are crazy too, because it's got the bit crusher from the Auto Bit Junior in there and the Enzo X. But on the Mercury X, like I said, that you get a lot of great stuff in there. You also get, you know, a flanger, dynamic flanger, a vibrato, I believe. What else is in there? The hazy joint in the Mercury X is insane. Where is that setting at? The calm setting. And I got this with that hazy modulation I was telling you guys about, that pretty much you don't need to buy any other lo-fi pedal because you can get all that done with the Mercury X. Between the Mercury X and Enzo X, it covers all of that stuff, plus your bass modulations, ring mod, filters, overdrives. I mean, plus, you know, you can use it as an octaver. You don't have to buy separate octavers. The mono octavers can get it done. You can create a bass octave down with the square wave and the synth on there as well. Check out this joint though. It just adds so much. I also have several other settings that really show you. Let me see. Let's go to some of the more tape shift. Let's go to Cosmic. This is a good example of some of the stuff you could do with different modifiers, you know. We got both LFOs go in there. Got that haze modulation in there. Nice delay. And even got that amazing diffusion in there. Because as you can hear, I have stereo delay going, so you can definitely hear it come in on that left side. You can also freeze that and really let the sound work. Beautiful pitch shifting. Another one where those the different effects modules and the Mercury X really shine in. And like again, I can't express to you how, because I don't have these in an exact order on the Mercury X. And even if I did put them in order, eventually they're going to be out of order again because I create new presets all the time. So having these where I can leave everything where it is and just put presets wherever on the Mercury X that they fit and have them just programmed here so I can instantly go. I can go from here. I can manipulate the sound. Or I can go to something else. Now we got the Leslie sound in there, you know what I'm saying? Pitch reverbs and delays. You hear that? Pitch delay. So we got you be having mad options with this joint. That's what make it so much fun. Choir setting for the, and all this is the Mercury X settings. Got my regular studio reverb. Right, just for solo sounds, but you know, having the ability to have all this right here at my fingertips, or even better, right here at my feet, you know, because this is just corresponding to what's going on in the foot. Well, rather, the foot switch is just corresponding to what I'm seeing on the screen. So I know if I press, you know, this first row and the second one, I know to do the same thing with the foot switch. so forth and so on. It's pretty intuitive. So, bam, and then you just switching pages, and as you can, well, I'll play different effects, different units. I'm not getting no sound. Just happened. Oh, I know. What did I change this to the keys? Yep. That's the problem. Then switch it back. Sorry. So, bam. Oh. So even with the Future Impact, you know, just everything's right there. I don't have to struggle to get to presets or scroll on here, try to fiddle around with all that stuff. I don't even have to bend down, you know. For real, what I plan on doing is, for gigs, having my pedal board up on the keyboard stand just like this. And from here, I can do all my presets from my feet. And if I need to get any of these other pedals on, I'll just do that with my hand. But usually by the time I'm needing those pedals, the primary loops and stuff are already laid down. So I don't have to fiddle around with my main, I don't have to fiddle around while I'm just trying to get the party going. Them first 3 or 4 loops have to be done very quickly in a show, in order to keep the crowd entertained, you know what I'm saying? So you want to get those done within a minute, you know, and that seems like, oh, that's enough time. All right. It ain't enough time if you got tap dance. It's so much extra time there for a 2-bar, 4-bar loop, you know, if you don't have to tap dance. So as long as you don't have to think about how to get to sounds and how to, you know, the volume they're going to be at, like that's a lot of what you see me doing on camera when I'm pull up presets and you see me adjust things and save it, is adjusting the volume of things. Like when I have it come on, I don't want it to be so loud. I don't want it to be too, you know, under volume either. That way it don't, you know, if I got a lead sound, I need it to come in like a lead sound. If it's a pad and it's meant to be a background pad, I need it to come in like that, not come in blazing over the rest of everything. So, you know, that's stuff you want to keep in mind as you're setting your pedal board up and things like that. But that's all I got time for today, guys. I definitely appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, you know, and all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon for all the preset packs for various pedals, C4 Synth, the Future Impact, the Enzo X, the 11 different preamp packs for the ToneX series pedals, the MS-60B plus, the MS-70 CDR plus, the Zoom B6, all that stuff is available. You know, definitely check that out when you get a chance. And thank you guys for hanging out with me, especially the usual suspects and my Patreon subscribers. Thank all of you guys. You guys mean the world to me. But I will catch you guys next time. This has been another episode of All Bass Creations, Effects, Tutorials, Demos, and Review. I am the Bass Negus. Follow me on all social media at the Bass Negus. I'll catch you next time. Peace.